Hey everybody, this is Paula Ritchie with OtherRealm Studio. And I have here a couple of older reference pictures. You can see I had to take these through a window and zoomed in a lot. Let's finish getting set up. But see, this guy over here on the right with the little spikes, I think I'm gonna use him for my model for this picture. And this one here with all the points, this little buck, I'm gonna have him on a different page, I think. So let's move him. There's not really a place to put reference photos in Clip Studio, I don't think. Well, unless you go ahead and download it and you have it in your layers or something like that. Let me see if I can zoom in on it just a little. Okay. So I can see where I want to make some adjustments to make him look better. Oops. Okay, let's not zoom in too much. Let's see. I think I have the shape of his ear just a bit off. So I'm gonna straighten this out. And come down here a bit. Okay, and I think the proportions are a little bit better this way. Let's see, I think I'll give him more of the markings that are in the reference. See here, this particular little buck has white around his muzzle. And also right here at his throat. While the other buck has a slightly different pattern. And you can also tell that he's much older because his neck's like really thick. Not just the antlers too, but you know, he's got a very thick neck. Okay. And I think I have my proportions off for where this leg is, so let's change that up a bit. So today, I printed off some of the more complete pieces, the pages that I have about ready, and I think I'm going to give those to Connie and um, see what she has to say. She is terribly busy keeping up with 90 something deer. I don't know. She might have hit 100 by now. Okay, let's take this down. Because he's not a horse. Deer are very flat across the withers generally. So, once again, let me tell you that this is a project I am doing for Magnolia Fawn Rescue, and you can see videos of the orphaned and injured fawn that Connie rescues and rehabilitates at Magnolia Fawn Rescue on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. If you'd like to search them up and see how they do what they do. There's, this is the season, so there's new videos about every day. People bringing in fawn that they found. Um, or the latest therapy session for one of the ones with the little wonky legs. It's usually the piebalds, but there was one that came in very, very tiny, very dehydrated. That was turned out to be a dwarf, and his legs were a little wonky too, I think. And he looked like he was doing well, though, in the video. You should go check that out. It was such a huge difference between how limp and emaciated and dehydrated that he looked when the man brought him in. And once he got some SQ fluids and some treatment in the little incubator thing, he just perked up and took his bottle really well. It's a good video. You should go look that up if you haven't seen it already. If you have seen it already, it's worth watching a few times. But yeah, Connie is really good at just making them live. And she's been an immense help to DNR and the deer population. She rescues like right around 100 fawn every year, and that doesn't even count the different cases that she gets, the abandoned pets that people have raised illegally and then turned loose with the hopes that they could just live out in the wild. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Deer are herd animals, and they think that whatever creature they've been raised with, that's their herd. And so when they get little spikes like on this one that I'm painting now, they start playing their rough games with people, and it's a little dangerous. And so I understand why people won't just keep them. They shouldn't anyway. But also turning them loose out in the wild isn't a good solution either, because he's just going to starve. Or go find more people to go try to be part of their herd. And it's kind of sad. I mean, earlier this year, Connie took in a couple of bucks like that. And now they live in the sanctuary. And that's a 20-year commitment with all the feed, all the veterinary expenses, all the care it takes every day, because they're not domestic, but they're not wild anymore either. And sometimes Connie will she'll go and rescue like a deer with head trauma, and sometimes they'll stay over for a few days until until they go one way or another. If they can recover with rest and medication, then they're released. And if not, well, at least they pass without pain. And that's one of the harder things to come to terms with. You're in this to rescue the deer, but they are so delicate. Um, I mean, they're optimized for their environment, but that environment is not exactly one that exists anymore. Their environment now is uh, much too closely intertwined with humans, and without their other natural predators. So, uh, wild white-tailed deer in South Carolina, um, they don't have wolves to fear anymore, but they do have cars to worry about, and having their habitats depleted. um, by housing developments like the one in the background of this picture. And, by people who don't necessarily live well with wildlife. Um, there were there were a few years when Connie would get a lot of calls from people whose dogs would uh, just roam around in the woods, and they'd find they'd find the phone and retrieve it. And these are always sad cases because, I mean, for one, it's hard to expect a dog to just leave it alone, and they usually just think, oh, it's a baby, and whatever herding or protective instincts they have just sort of kick in, and they uh, fetch it back as a present. But unlike puppies and kittens, uh, fawn are not built to be carried safely like that. So usually their lungs are punctured by a dog when it's trying to just carry home a prize to show his family. He doesn't mean to, but he had to use his teeth, and it didn't go well. So it's kind of rare for one to survive. I don't know what well, a few years ago it was kind of rare, but it is possible that, with all the additional training that Connie's done since then, um, and with the equipment, like she's always staying on top of everything to do with uh, rehabilitating the deer, and she'll invent her own methods and techniques if there's nothing available. Like when she started doing therapy on the dwarf deer on their legs that would be turned wrong. there wasn't really anything else. There wasn't really anything on the market to help with that, so she built some out of like um, just whatever she had around the house, so that she could just try anything she could think of out of whatever she had at hand to try to give these deer the best possible future. So I don't know. She might be able. She might have come up with something by now, um, or it might be less of a problem. I hope it's just less of a problem lately. I haven't heard of many recently. And it's like problems just kind of come and go. Um, there'll be some weird problem, some weird circumstance that you've never heard of before. Um, like you find someone finds a phone that's fallen off of a wall, and it's like, well, that's the new trending thing for phone to do is fall off walls because you're finding them after that now. Um, or getting hung up in a fence. Sometimes it's a year for that. Probably every year there's a few hung up in a fence somehow. Look at all this leg they have. It's really difficult to not uh, get caught up accidentally with so much legs. And sometimes it's the year of the fly strike, and those are really hard because that's a lot of combing out little maggots out of their fur. But yeah, it's hard and it's heartbreaking, and um, it's also Connie's calling. Like, I am not particularly talented at making creatures live. I have a hard enough time keeping my children. We're all surviving. Okay, get that down a bit. Blend out some edges that looked a little too sharp. And I think I can highlight a little bit down this leg too. So yeah. Um, but Connie truly is gifted at rehabilitating um, really a lot of different kinds of animals, but especially the deer. And they are extra challenging. So I'm glad they have Connie on their side. Okay, he's looking really good, I think. So, goodness, I got hiccups. Um, let's go ahead and settle on a color for this tree and paint it in. So some of my earlier pages that I did when I was still in the concept stage for this book, um, I think, I like the composition and the layout, but I think I need to go over some of the deer especially. And straighten them out. Uh, so I've gotten better since last year at the anatomy and the luster of the coat. So I want to go back in some of these earlier pages and bring them up to standard. I really have to say, it is so much easier to paint tree branches with just one line, because outlining tree branches is absolutely maddening. I always thought I was terrible at drawing trees, but no, I think that trying to outline each branch was messing me up. Okay, let's do another layer just on top of here. Let's hide this one so I can see what I'm doing. So, when I finish painting this book, um, I will be publishing it through um, my own venture, OtherRealm Studio, which generally it's sci-fi and fantasy, like portal fantasy, but I have the ISBN numbers and all the infrastructure set up. So I think I can go slightly off um, my usual range and publish this book. Uh, I mean, I do want to, yeah, mainly because I want to retain creative control for me and Connie. Um, I don't, I don't really want a publisher to insist that we say something that's kind of not that authentic to the mission, or to dumb it down for children. Um, or to say something that, Connie wouldn't ordinarily say. And, I just have pretty much lost faith in traditional publishing. So that's the plan. And so really all we need is to find out how many people would like a copy of the book, and see how many will order it or not. How many will uh, pledge to pay for it once it's printed. So I have it on Kickstarter. It is the Magnolia Foam Children's Book Project by OtherRealm Studio. Um, I had a thing here. A minute. I don't want this on here. Okay. Um, so here we are. This is the Magnolia Foam Children's Book, and this is where I'm endeavoring to raise the money to print off the books. So the idea is that somewhere between 30 and 50 people order the books, and I can get a print run of about 100, and whatever doesn't ship out, then I can give that to Connie for her fundraisers. So I don't, I mean, I guess I can probably drop this in the chat since, oh, wait, here we go. Okay, copy. This would probably have been easier going through here. And paste. Let's see if that actually makes a clickable link. It says so on my end. So I just posted that in Restream. So you should be able to see the link in chat for both Twitch and YouTube. But yeah, but the thing is, you might notice that I have found 10 backers and we're nowhere near the goal and we're halfway through the campaign. Yeah, this is kind of a problem. I'm not sure what's going on because I've run other campaigns before for much more obscure projects, and uh, I know it's always a struggle to be visible, but this is somewhat excessive. I even did the shadow ban search thing. It seems like my posts about the campaign aren't really reaching anybody. Um, so there's, well, okay, so they are reaching certain people, but it's the same people. It is the same few family members. It's the same few fellow publishers. It's the same, um, it's the same few people on the Magnolia Fallen Facebook page as well. When I cross post there. And I'm not really sure how come I'm not reaching all of my followers. I was kind of hoping I'd be able to send um, more people Connie's way. I mean, she does have a lot of followers, though. Mine are a drop in the bucket compared to hers, but I thought I could do something. Goodness. But no, it's been really difficult getting any traction anywhere. And it's just strange because these other niche projects that I've done comic books and not superhero action comic books, fantasy comic books. I have raised the money for the print runs for those. And for my um, superhero novel, because I do everything backwards like that, that had been essentially most of it had been previously published, but my publisher went out of business. And the relaunch with an illustrated edition, I did a Kickstarter for that, and it did fine. I was able to afford a print run for that one, and and it didn't run for any more time. And they were both doing much better at this point than this book, and I really don't get it. You'd think that a children's book or an art book would be so much more mainstream and appealing. And so I just have this suspicion that the algorithms um, have changed so drastically in the past couple years that the various social media companies and Kickstarter itself um, just don't show links. they don't show the campaign. There's like nobody can see them. Not all of my, I mean, for a long time it's been the case that not all your followers see your posts on Facebook. And also, stuff gets shuffled around. Like, I've noticed links to Kickstarter campaigns, like from people I follow and check out every day. I've noticed ads that they run for campaigns. Um, and the ad says a date for the Kickstarter that's already passed. And that's, for one thing, that's not fair. And I also don't understand how Facebook can take your money when you're running an ad, even. And then they don't show anybody your ad until your campaign's over. Um, it really defeats the purpose of having an ad. So I haven't taken out any Facebook ads. The last time I did that, it was a complete waste of money. Um, it's like I had a book on sale and nobody saw the ad until after the promotion was over, and I couldn't really get another. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of considerations, and every time I think that I've learned the new system and figured it out, they just come up with something new to make um, showing people what you're trying to offer them absolutely an exercise in futility. So I don't know how to make sure that people who would love this book actually see where I'm trying to get it printed. I don't want to bother people. I don't want to like spam Connie's page or anything. Um, and she approves my posts when I do cross posts to there, but it would be so much nicer if my posts would just get shown to people in the first place and I wouldn't have to worry that no one's going to see that I'm working on this book until it's too late. So, yeah, that's kind of been on my mind. Sorry about the rant. Okay, I am pretty happy with how he's turning out. Um, let's see. Alright, it's almost 9 o'clock. I have some other obligations this evening, so I gotta go soon. Let's see if we can uh, put a gradient. And you know, make this look pretty real quick. Okay, I like that. The gradient with the sky, really finishes it out, I think. Um, and I might add a little bit of fog to convey some distance, mostly. But also because it usually is kind of foggy when the deer are out early. Right, let's hit save on this. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Even if you aren't in real time in the chat right now, um, if you've decided to stop by and watch this art stream and put up with my ranting, um, I appreciate that too. So thank you so much for watching. Um, if if you can, just stop by the Magnolia Fallen children's book on Kickstarter, and you can hit the remind me button, give it a share, or back the project. That would be fantastic. I appreciate whatever I can get, y'all. I just really want to see this book in print, and there's no reason it shouldn't be. I've got everything else lined up. I'm going to be able to um, finish illustrating, finish writing, format the whole thing. There's nothing holding it up except being able to afford the printing and the shipping. And I'd like to have people pledging to buy the book at that point. So purely so that I'm not stuck with a pile of books that nobody's gonna know about. So anyway, thanks again. I'll see you all later. 8 o'clock tomorrow, and the day after that, and so on until the end of June at least. Good night.